Going to show you how to do sandwich dill pickles. So if you want to get pickled with me, come on. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube because there's a lot more that's going on. And you know what? You can subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. You just have to click that button and subscribe. Do some sandwich dill pickles, and I like to grow my cucumbers out pretty big. You could do little baby dills if you wanted, but I feel, you know, bigger is better and you get more bang for your buck if you let your cucumbers grow. And who doesn't like sandwich dill pickles? They go well on burgers, if you're having cheese and crackers. Anyways, what I like to do, I cut off the ends. And I take, this year I'm starting to take a little bit of peeling off. Because that's what I want to do, just because I can't eat too much things with skins on them. And all the cucumbers came from my garden. Anyways, you're just going to slice as thin as you can. Make sure you don't cut your hands. You don't want a finger in your jar. Last year when I did them, I cut some of mine into circles. So that's an option. You could cut circles and do sandwich dill pickles. I might do that. But right now I'm doing them lengthwise. I prefer them that way. Circles are good. It's kind of your own preference. I sterilized all the jars. When you're prepping and sterilizing the jars, make sure you wash them like this. You want to check your lids, ones you've used before, to make sure that they're not too rusty. If they're rusty, throw them out. Then you're going to place your jars and your lids in the boiling water to sterilize them. Use the tongs because it sure gets hot. Leave them for a few minutes and then your jars are done. You're ready to go. You're ready to get your did downs done. Sterilizing the jars, I was listening to the Leafs play. Oh, I got my Leafs hat on. I'm all excited that, you know, hockey and baseball are back on, but it's really odd watching. There's no fans in the crowd. It's almost kind of hard to get into, but you're excited that it's back because, you know, like, then the Leafs won last night, so that's great. Wouldn't that be funny if they won the cup and there's a pandemic, they couldn't even drink out of the cup, but you know what? You never know. And you know what? If they're struggling, they can always throw that Zamboni driver in. He's a pretty good goalie. Everything kind of went to crap right after that game. Pandemic started. You know, you can use cucumber that size. You know, people think they have to be little to preserve. Cut them in half. That's why I started doing sandwich dill pickles, because, hey, why not? It works. I've done these on my own before, but Mama wanted to help, so she's doing the garlic right now while I do this. I went looking for garlic yesterday and found some from a local farmer grown in Canada. Ow! Oh.
Nice one.
Oh, she didn't fall for it. Just a little canning fun.
Just because you can.
Because you want to preserve those fingers, so just don't cut too sharp and pay attention to what you're doing. The other thing is when you're sterilizing your mason jars, you want to go slow, nice, slow and steady wins that race. You don't want to burn yourself. I learned one time when I was on a team building exercise that slow is fast. All these cucumbers were grown from my garden, and now that they're sliced, we're going to prep our jars. This is all my dill that I got the other day from my garden. Give them a little rinse-a-rooney. You can add some garlic. It's optional. I'm about to make the brine, and I thought I'd throw the apron on just because it adds a little bit more to the video. Makes me feel a little bit more,
in the canning.
like a domestic goddess. Makes me feel pretty special. All right. Okay, we're going to do our dry ingredients first. And we got some pickling salt here. Don't confuse it with table salt. You want pickling salt. I'm just doing a single batch right now because I'm not too sure how many jars I'm going to get done. But it's really easy. There's like 3 ingredients for this. So here's a cup of salt. pickling salt. Okay, this trusty bowl right here, measuring cup, holds 8. So I need 4 cups of vinegar. All right, you need 10 cups of water. Good thing I work out. Okay, so the brine's on boil right now. You don't have to whisk it. There's no flour. If you watched my mustard bean pickles, you had to stand there and whisk constantly. So the brine's coming to a boil. For the garlic, it takes like two cloves per jar, but you can put as much garlic in as you want. And we got some pretty big hunks here, so I'm just throwing it in because I like the garlic.
Garlic is optional.
And garlic is optional. I just cut my dill with scissors, and then you add it in with your garlic, and you can put like about 2 things of dill in here. See, you got your garlic in there and about 2
Sprigs of dill.
sprigs of dill and your garlic. Ideally, I like to have a wide mouth jar because, as you're going to see, I'm going to stuff the pickles in there. In my head while I was filling up the wide mouth mason jars. Is that where Wide Mouth Mason got their name? Maybe the members from Wide Mouth Mason, maybe they did some pickling with their grandparents. I don't know. But it makes you wonder where they got their name. Wide Mouth Mason. They're Canadian too. And imagine this came from my garden. I did 3 rows of cucumbers. And you just stuff it in there, get it in there. Stuff it like a Thanksgiving turkey. Get it in there. The more you get in there, the better. This recipe came from an elderly woman I knew, Pat. So these are Pat's dill pickles, but you know, dill pickle recipes are pretty standard. Pat was one of a kind. Now I'm working on a small mouth jar, so it's harder to get my hands in there. So you want to try to make sure you're getting in the sides because you'll have little pockets that, you know, are empty. So every little nook and cranny of these jars you want to get filled up. If you didn't see my mustard bean pickle preservative video, this thing here used to be my grandma's, my mom's. It's seen a lot of canning days. I think it's called a canning funnel. In my last video I wasn't sure, but I think it's a canning funnel. But it's made of like tin or whatever. You can't see, I got a plate underneath my jar to catch the drip. I have a cup here to pour. My brine has now come to a boil. Then you just fill up your cup. It's simple to make up another batch of brine because you saw how easy the ingredients were. So you fill it to the top. Grab your knife and your cloth because the jars are hot. And you're going to run it down your jar and leave it sit there while the air bubbles come up. Because if you have air pockets in your cans, it could spoil your mixture. When I tried to get out the air pockets, it pushed my brine back down. So I'm just adding a little bit more brine to my jar because it should be right to the top. So now I have to look for air pockets again. Get your lid, use your cloth. Make sure that your lids go on nice and tight. And once you get all your jars done, in a couple of hours, or from now until a couple hours, you're going to hear these lids pop. And that's a good sound because that means it's sealing it. So when you hear them pop, you know you did good. 6 jars of pickles done, and I have 3 more jars to go, but I ran out of my brine. So what I did was just cut that in half and just did half the ingredients because I only have 3 jars left to do. Waiting for my brine to come to a boil. Finish off my 3 jars. And we had leftover garlic, so we pickled our garlic. Why not? So again, if you have more jars than you have brine, just cut your ingredients in half and just do a half batch of brine. Pretty simple. To ensure your jars are sealed properly, press the middle, and if it's rock solid like this and it doesn't move, then your jar is sealed. If it's wiggly, then that means your jar is not sealed and probably not good. All right, there you have it. That's how you do sandwich dill pickles. I do want to add that a lot of people, and it's recommended that you do a hot water bath with your jars when you're done pickling. That's something my family has never done, but there is a thing called botulism or something like that. So it is recommended after you do your jars, you put them in like a boiling hot water bath until, you know, the recommended time. So you might want to look into that. We don't do that. So I'm just throwing that out there. You know, if you Google stuff, it'll say, you know, don't do what Granny did. Well, I'm doing what Granny did, but this is what they recommend so that you don't get food poisoning. Anyways, you might want to look into that if you're concerned. You know what? I'm still around. I'm still kicking. And hey, Grandma, you know what? She lived on her own till she was 91, went to the nursing home, and lived 1 month shy of her 95th birthday and just passed away in her sleep. So, you know what? I'm going to trust Grandma. Grandma knows best. Great Grandma knew best, and Mama knows best. Right, well, you know what? It's kind of overcast, got a little bit of rain. I've actually been pretty lucky, so I'm going to take it easy today. Maybe play a little guitar, because, you know, one thing COVID taught me was, you know, I could play the guitar without music. And, you know, I'm no Celine Dion or Shania Twain, but, you know what? I'm pretty happy with how I'm making it with my guitar. Yeah, so I might do that. Cantaloupes are coming in. I'm going to go over my garden, you know, a little bit later and kind of show you where we're at. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe on YouTube. Doesn't cost anything. You just got to click you like it. Hey, the Leafs didn't make it, but there's a lot of other Canadian teams to go. More countryfied coming your way. Stay tuned.